Going back to what you were saying about the idea of being an antenna, right? And kind of there's like one consciousness that we all kind of tune into. I've had this thought for a little while as well, right? Assuming that's real. So if you imagine it like a consciousness is like a server, right? So say it's like a social media or something, and then you log in, all the information is kind of intertwined and stuff. So then everyone's on a 9 to 5, right? Obviously not everyone, like 9 to 5 is kind of sold as this kind of awful idea, but I grew up where you're in shit 8-hour contracts and you're lucky to get a 12 till 2 shift. So the actual idea of a 9 to 5 and a consistent salary and not being fucked over is great for people. But what I'm getting at is 9 to 5, everyone sets their alarm for 6:30, right? At 6:30, all of these people are waking up at the same time. Bang, everybody all jumps onto the server at the same time, and everybody gets the day going, and it feels slow in the morning as you're tired, and then obviously by the end of the day you've got your different energy, but there's no time to think about this because you've got to get the bus and you're running late and your boss is a dickhead, so you can't be late or he's going to give you a hard time, and then you have to pay your council tax. So these first 3 days of your labour that you've sold are gone because you've had to pay for some MP's expenses or some nonsense like that.
Well, or you're paying for the killing machine that our government operates, where it goes to countries and does unspeakable things that they don't tell us about and we're not supposed to think about, and they kill innocent people, men, women and children and old people all over the world every single day for profit. So that's what they do with our taxpayers' money.
There's all of these different things all at once. So the idea of, like I spoke to you about a meditation, and I've done a little bit where I just I do mindful meditation. So I sit there, I focus on just my breathing. As soon as a thought comes into my head, because there's no way to turn your brain off, it's always like you need to worry about this, I acknowledge that thought, and then it's like, okay, it's there, I touch it, and then I push it away, and then I'm back. I'll sit there, I'll set a timer on my phone so I'm not getting interrupted and I don't have to worry. And when I come out of that, I have this kind of clarity where just my mind is quiet and it's calm, and then I open my eyes and I'm looking at the grass, and then I realize, wow, that's where it all starts. There's this grass that the bugs eat.
Grass is amazing.
You're looking at it and you're thinking it's green because it eats the sun. This is crazy how it's turning it into sugars and making this thing. It ends up leading me to what I perceive as profound thoughts. It's not that I open my eyes with this implanted idea, it's just my mind is quiet, and then when it's quiet I can focus on one thing long enough and not be distracted by Twitter likes or this or the world's on fire or all of this. Like, so while I'm doing that, I had this kind of a realization, like the most profound one for me is that the past and the future don't even exist, right? Like, they're not tangible, they're not real, you can't get to them, there's no way that you can get back and change it or jump ahead and change anything. Right now is the only time that exists. So what happened last week that I think, oh, I'm a fucking dickhead of, like, obviously the ripples of consequence can kind of transcend this thing, but if I'm worried about something next week, it is happening on Monday, no matter what I do, unless I just don't go to it. So I'm going to let it ruin my now all the way until tomorrow, which never comes. Mm-hmm. So that means that my now is constantly ruined. So then why am I worried about, oh, how am I going to get a pension? What am I going to do for this, that, and the other? When, like, look, this thing on the floor is eating the fucking sun. Oh, what's that? A bee. Yeah, what does that do? Feed all of us. That's pollinating this, and then a bird eat that, and then a fox eat, like, and it just goes up and up and up, and then it shifts everything into perspective. There's so much going on and so much to worry about all the time, like the fact that I fill up my car and I'm putting a bullet in a gun that's shooting a kid on the other side of the world. I got really stuck in that once, and it's like, I'm part of this system, I don't have a choice. I was born halfway through this film into this system I don't want to partake on, but if I don't play the game, I die, basically. I get outcast, I get no help from society or the resources, I have to play the game, and there's no other choice. So then I ended up getting caught up in this terrible thought, but then I started to think, I can't see it. And that might sound cold, I know it's happening, but I can't do anything about it. So I got this overwhelming feeling that the world is on fire and I need to fix it. But I can't fix it because I'm this powerless one little individual, right?
Well, you have to come to this. It's hard to understand that basically you could spend your whole life doing nothing but good. You could be carbon neutral. You could be nothing but a giver. You could spend your whole life doing nothing but good for other people until it wears you out and you die. And it's not going to make a shred of difference to the overall system that we live in.
That is a terrifying, horrible
that would
thought.
Cheer you up, wouldn't it?
Yeah. The idea of that, how are you supposed to cheer the duck up when the weight of all of this is on your shoulders, right? It's terrifying, but I do have an answer, so don't you worry. I first came to this realization, nothing you see in the media doesn't make sense. When you see something, that doesn't make sense. No, it does, you just don't understand it. What mine came from was I was listening to two artists, one called Loki and one called Akala. They were singing about the wars and this, that, and the other. So then I saw this, a news thing, there was some kind of attack on our troops in the Middle East in some country we shouldn't have been in. I thought, like, that doesn't make sense. We're over there trying to help them, right? We're trying to save them. We're trying to stop the terrorists, and we're trying to do this and blah, blah, blah. So why are they attacking us back? That doesn't make sense. No, it does make sense. I just don't understand, right? We're the bad guys. We are the big bad wolf. We're going over there. They didn't listen to what we wanted them. So we lied about WMDs, and Tony Blair got us in there, and that war criminal did what he did, and then his wife changed the law and he got back out of it, right? So I realized this and went down that kind of a rabbit hole of the thought. I think it's actually one of Carla's lines. He says something about, I'm tired of filling up my car and paying for the bombs in Iraq or something like that. And then I was like, wow. And I got really down by the fact that the world's on fire and I can't make a single difference. And then I was on the bus on the way to a job I hated, and I was sat there being all miserable and grumpy, empty bus, and an old man comes on and sits next to me. I'm like, fuck's sake. But I was ignoring him and looking out the window. He pulled my headphone out my ear. He's like, what's the matter with you then, lad? Like, you've woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, didn't you? I was like, oh, what do you mean? Like, the world's on fire. I'm going to work a job that I hate for a faceless corporation where I'm just a number, right? And I'm wasted there. All of my humanity is being reduced down to just say yes please and no thank you, and in offer to take the shop into the car.
And
Like,
if I don't do it, I lose my home.
I have to do it. So I'm a wage slave, right? I have to do this thing to only just cover my bills and live paycheck to paycheck. And while I'm moaning about this, there's some poor fucking cunt that can't even have a drink of clean water. What am I supposed to do about this? And then he told me one of the best analogies I've ever heard in my life. He said there was an old man and his grandson walking down the beach, and the beach is covered in starfish. They're everywhere. And the old man sees it. He's like, oh, that's a bit grim. And the young lad panics. He's, oh my God. And he runs down, starts picking them up, dashing them back in the water. But it's like a mile of beach covered in starfish. And the old man says to him, like, lad, you're not going to make a difference. Just stop, right? And he picks up one more, dashes it into the water, and says, well, I made a difference to that one, didn't I? It was like an audible click of, I can't change the entire world, but I can help individuals. And yeah, I can't help that whole beach, but I can help that one starfish. So then if I have an opportunity to be nice, or an opportunity to do the right thing, even if it's going out of my way without being too much of a detriment to myself, then I can change the world one starfish at a time.